Hello Warhammer YouTubers, it's Hooves of Doom, and today was the New Year Open Day 2020, the first reveal show of the new year, and there's some really cool stuff going on. This video is just basically a commentary of what was revealed and kind of just my reaction to it. Now the first thing that's big here is obviously the so-called pointy elves from the realms of Hysh. They're going to come up with a better name for pointy elves, as they discussed. But they really seem to be pushing that these are more of the traditional high elf aesthetic. Now, there's a lot of people that are pretty happy about this. And it's really something that's been missing to some extent. I have a lot of old models, sword masters, and all sorts of things that would love to have, more of a legitimate place in the game than they kind of currently do. We'll see how it really plays out. If you look at the current elven races in the game, they're kind of bizarre mutants and kind of malformed beings that, were torn from the belly of Slaanesh. And Teclis has been trying to kind of purify them. I don't think we'll see quite. I still think that there's a high possibility of kind of bizarre, kind of angelic mutations and things like this that are much more pure, but they're definitely not going to be necessarily pure, straight up high elves. There's going to be something about them that makes them distinctly Age of Sigmar, the Age of Sigmar version of a high elf. But even if they just go back to the standard kind of traditional armor designs and aesthetics, I think that'd be really nice. Has a place definitely in the game. And one of the most amazing things about Age of Sigmar is, after being out now for several years, the fact that there are these untapped resources, right? There's still much of the realm of Shadow, and that hasn't been explored. And Hysh is almost entirely unexplored, with the exception of like a Warcry warband, which is chaos. So there's a lot of untapped potential in the game still, and this is one of the big factions that hasn't been touched at all. And I'm really excited to see what they might do with it. It's definitely has a lot of potential, and I'll definitely be interested in whatever army that they release. Now, one of the other big things, it's not nearly on the same scale. Obviously, this Hysh army, they said spring. It's probably going to be part of the Adepticon reveal, frankly. But one of the other things that they really talked about is this new kind of battle tome, Wrath of the Everchosen, which is kind of a supplementary battle tome for Ossiarch Bone Reapers and the Slaves to Darkness, which was just released. I have no clue what really the content is here. They talked a little bit about some of the kind of rules and options available that you might have, but ever since the final book of the Realm Gate Wars, I've really thought that they've kind of dropped that narrative push. They've had Malign Portents, they have had Soul Wars. There are things going on. But I really love books that tell kind of side stories and push more of the story rather than just rules. And one of the Christmas gifts I got this year was kind of the Empire at War book from Warhammer Fantasy. And I have a bunch of these old kind of novelty books, as I call them, that have they're not about the game at all. They're about the universe of Warhammer from kind of a narrative perspective. And that's something that I wish Games Workshop would get more into. Now, I'm not arguing that Wrath of the Everchosen is one of these books, but it's more in that line than a traditional battle tome, right? It is a narrative-driven rule set. And for that reason alone, I'm pretty excited for this. It's not quite what I'm looking for, but I'm interested in what it means for the future, and I think there's some good things there. So, Warcry, we're finally maybe getting the Homoroid Crusher and the Ogreoid Myrddon and the crazy cat creature. Why these were revealed months ago and are still now only, being teased at, I don't really know. Please release them. They look like beautiful models, and I'll be happy to have them. They're just terrific. Those are some of the most exciting Warcry models that I think they've teased, and it'd be nice to have those. And the Spire Guard too. What happened to those? Where are those guys? Come on, GW. They release enough models as it is, but don't tease us with models for months in advance and then never seem to release them. Alright, so a new Beastgrave Warband. Beastgrave, in my opinion, still continues to push the boundary of model kits. Just a lot of unexplored territory that they could look at and really flesh out. And here we got Hrothgorn's Mantrappers, which is kind of an Ogre Mod Tribes war band. One Ogre with his little saber tusk, and then some Noblars. Again, really kind of cool. I excuse me. The functionality of these within AOS is a little bit problematic, especially when you combine these types of different models within a single unit. But within the game itself, I'm sure it would be really cool. The Noblars are just there to capture squares, I'm sure, but I do love these warbands simply because they are unique sculpts, and I just think they look great. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, we have some more Sisters of Battle reveals and some upcoming releases here, which I'm very excited for. I just got Mrs. Hooves into Sisters of Battle this Christmas. I got her Saint Celestine, and I have a squad of sisters and a squad of Sister Repentii. I would love to flush out that army legitimately, and these kits are just mind-boggling in so many ways. I love each and every single one of these models. I just think that they are, fundamentally just gorgeous, and what can I say? Everything about them, I think, is terrific. The one flat piece for me is probably the statue, just because there's not, painting stone can be a little flat, but it has kind of this cool terrain piece that kind of goes into it. It's like a shrine, which I do like. But the other piece, the kind of penitent engines, I think they look really cool. And I like the one that has more like an Iron Maiden kind of aesthetic, where someone's kind of trapped in there. And then the final reveal of the show is the kind of new model for Shadowsun, Commander Shadowsun, which is a cool model, no doubt. I'm a little conflicted about this in some ways, just because I started playing Tau right when the army first came out, and so to me, Shadowsun is already kind of a newer character, insofar as she kind of came in like the second wave of Tau models, and now she's being redone again. And I'm not really sure what the purpose of that. I mean, I wouldn't say the previous Shadowsun was an amazing model, but I thought it was sufficient, and it just seems weird to me to put out yet another version and not explore something that's untapped, not introduce a different character of some sort. but it's a beautiful model, and I hope it is the sign of other Tau releases, because I have a pretty soft spot for Tau. I played Tau for a very long time and enjoyed that army quite a lot. So we'll see. As far as the reveals for the new year go, pretty good. I'm pretty excited. I think it just means it's a pretty exciting year. They've talked about how the Adepticon reveal will be the best ever, constantly upping from previous years. There's got to be some sort of plateau there, but all in all, any type of open day type of reveal, I'm in. I love new models, and these are some great ones. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.